Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mattel Jurassic World Dominion review. Today we're going to take a look at the massive action Yangchuanosaurus. Mattel keeps cranking out species I never thought I would see in the Jurassic line. This was a figure I was really excited for. Yeah, I know it's not a perfect looking Yangchuanosaurus. You know, it's basically just a big goofy generic theropod with a funky crest, but it's a fun looking toy. I was really looking forward to this. You know, if you want, accurate dinosaur figures, there's plenty of other companies to pick from. If you want to know what a real Yangchuanosaurus looks like, go check out my older review on the PNSO version. So yeah, hunting figures the last few days, I've picked up a lot of stuff. I spent a lot of money. Found pretty much everything I was looking for. The only thing that's still eluding me is the Hammond Collection Parasaurolophus. Hopefully my pre-order ships from Target relatively soon. But yeah, most of these figures are being found at Walmarts and Targets. Everyone's kind of on the hunt right now. Some people are having great success, others aren't. Just be patient. These figures will be all over the place relatively soon. Now this figure retails for $20. Like I said, I found mine at Target, but I'll leave links below down in the description to Amazon, Target, and Walmart if you feel like ordering this figure online. Now let's go over the package really quick before we crack this figure open. Jurassic World Dominion style packaging, logos down here. There's Rexy in the back. We got the helicopter overhead. Got a couple pictures down here of how the massive action feature works on this. Turn it around, you get a nice picture of how those features work. Down here is the other figure in the massive action collection, the new Quetzalcoatlus, which I will be reviewing very shortly on the channel. So that will do it for the packaging. Let's crack this thing open and take a closer look. And let's start with this 360-degree view of this figure. I have to say, it is a really nicely sculpted figure. Tons of nice scale detail of the figure. We have all little, bumps, spikes, and osteoderms all over the place. Love that really vibrant looking head crest. It's just a cool looking theropod figure. Yeah, it's a little generic looking, but you know what? It's neat looking. I dig this thing. The paint apps are pretty decent. Same problem we've been having with a lot of figures. No paint on the tails and on the legs, but you have that nice red head crest. You have all this nice brown mixing with the green on the head, going down to about the midpoint of the body. We do have a couple splashes of brown along the side. Unpainted toe claws and hand claws, pretty typical, but you know what, for a $20 figure, I am quite happy with it. And like I said, it's so detailed. I can't wait to see what all those talented customizers can do. Given this a custom paint job, there's a lot of great detail on there that can be brought out with a really nice paint job. And now for a couple quick measurements. This figure is 14 inches long from tip of the tail to tip of the snout, and about 6 inches tall. So Yangchuanosaurus in real life was around 26 feet long. So with those measurements, I'll put the figure in the 122 scale range. There is a larger species, Yangchuanosaurus magnus, which was around 35 feet long. And since this is the Jurassic franchise, they always go bigger. So with those measurements, I'll put this figure in the 130 scale range. So let's zoom in and take a look at some of the finer details on this figure, starting with the head. A pretty generic theropod head, but like I said, it's packed full with tons of details. You have all this nice fine scale detail all over the head, all these large scales lining the lips. The lower jaw is also nicely textured. Nice sharp looking teeth. They're all nicely painted. Eyes painted in yellow with a black pupil. Mattel finally went back to paint the pupils with actual paint instead of leaving them blank with the base plastic as the pupil color. So that's a nice change. We have this beautiful, brilliant red crest on the top. Now Yangchuanosaurus did not have a crest this large. It did have like a ridge running down his nose, but it was not this big. But I'm okay with the artistic liberties that Mattel has taken. It makes the figure look different than what is out there. It's going to bother some people. Doesn't bother me. I think it looks cool. Shutting the jaw, you can see those teeth hang past the lower jaw. Gives it a kind of goofy look, but I think it gives it some nice character. And looking at it from the front, you can see it is a double crest, all nice brown paint down the middle of the head, mixing in with the light green of the plastic. Then on the top right here, you have all these large rose scales. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Cryolophosaurus that they did a while ago. Exaggerated features on it, but I always think it's, it's fun. It's fun. It's just a fun looking toy. Going down to the arms, you have really powerful looking 3-clawed arms. Hand claws aren't painted in, pretty typical for figures in this range of more of that brown paint Nice market. It actually is a nicely, patterned figure. It doesn't look as random as like the Tantystropheus. Like it just looked like, someone just sprayed it with white paint and just called it a day. Actually a nice cohesive pattern on it. Going down to the hind legs, you have really large osteotherms all over the thighs, going down to the feet. A little bit oversized feet, but not bad. Keeps the figure pretty stable. Toe claws aren't painted. And then going up to the back right here, you have more large osteoderms and more of those spikes. And right here is the scan code for the fax app. I actually don't mind this feature. I think it's a little bit different than what was on the feet. Really not that intrusive on the figure. Yeah, you get a little bit of a ridge right here, but is nowhere near as bad as the sliding feature on those Raw Attack figures that came out in Dino Escape. And then going down to the tail, no paint on the tail, pretty typical. Like a little paint got on here on accident. Trust me, Mattel wasn't going to paint the tail. You got more of that like ridge going down to about the tip. Tail is very small for the proportions on this figure, but that is still pretty typical. They do have size restraints that they have to meet so these figures can fit on the shelves, and having a shorter tail is the sacrifice for that. But whatever, it is pretty cool, and I do really like this figure. And you also have a nice coat of bright green paint for the throat and the underside that ends right about the base of the tail. So all in all, a really nicely detailed and sculpted figure. Now for articulation, really doesn't have much because a lot of it is tied to the action feature. Arms can move forwards and backwards there on a hinge. Allows you to swing the arms out, and the legs can move. Whoa, almost lost this guy. Can move backwards and forwards a little bit, but the joint's really tight, so it's more tied to the action feature, and of course you do get that ankle rotation. Now for the action feature, or its massive action feature, all of it is controlled on the tail. You have a button right here which controls the jaws, and then you can move the tail side to side to have the animal thrash around, and you do get some good movement because you have a joint here and a joint here, and you can also have it crouch down to pick up its prey and swing it around. So yeah, a neat action feature. Yeah, it does limit the articulation, but this is meant for kids, and we're adults and we're collecting them, so I can overlook that. Now for comparisons, first up here's one of the human characters. Here it is with Owen, and next up here it is with one of its relatives, Allosaurus. We are getting a larger Allosaurus figure with that battle damage one. It's already being found in stores. I think someone found it in Texas, and it's probably like almost twice the size of this Allosaurus figure, and I'm really looking forward to that one. And let's compare it to some smaller figures. Here it is with the Ferocious Pack, Moros, the Dino Pack, Dilophosaurus, and Extreme Damage Blue. And next up are some Hammond Collection figures. Here it is with the Velociraptor and the Baryonyx. And next up here it is with the awesome Therizinosaurus. So we have two Asian dinosaur species in this shot. And lastly, here it is with the new Dominion T-Rex. So final thoughts on this Yangchuanosaurus. It's just a big, dumb-looking generic theropod, and sometimes that's all a toy needs to be. I really like this figure, so I do recommend it. I like the nice brilliant red crest on it, even though it's not accurate, but the figure is chock full of beautiful scale detail. It's a nicely sculpted figure. The paint job is sufficient. It's definitely better than some of the stuff Mattel put out, and don't worry, I will be getting to that horrendous looking Maragaya figure relatively soon. So yeah, definitely recommend this guy for 20 bucks. It's a big figure, fun action feature, and it is very enjoyable to play with. Like I said at the beginning of the review, I have links down below in the description if you want to order this guy online from various sites. And that will do it for the review. Still have a ton of Dominion stuff to work through. So like I said, there's going to be a lot of Dominion reviews on the channel. Try to sprinkle in some non-Jurassic stuff here and there when I get the chance. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.